We like to call what we run at North Hall is really, we call it the multiple wing tee offense. We are not traditional. We don't have the same numbering system, and we don't do things traditionally, to be quite honest with you. So really what you're going to see here is a lot of perimeter run blocking schemes, some of our complementary plays that we run off of this coach is also speaking on. But in the end, I think you're going to get a good look at what we do at North Hall. And so when we talk about our perimeter game from under center, I guess the biggest thing that we have to look at is the plays that we typically run. We are a big quick pitch team. We used to run some rocket. We've kind of gotten out of that a little bit, and I'll show you some different versions later in the end. But we're a big quick pitch team. I like to get the ball out quickly. I don't like motion. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we don't run anything left from motion. So we kind of went to the quick pitch instead of the rocket. We will run toss, and for us, toss is from the fullback position. So you'll see some things where we can go with a halfback lead either here or they're going strong. And like I said, we're going to talk about the different ways that we block things outside. So that way, when you have a defender that is creating havoc, we've got different ways to block them and different calls. And then we also run a lot of jet sweep. One of the things that we do in jet sweep is we have the ability to have our guys, any one of these guys you see in yellow can actually run jet sweep, depending on who they are, depending on your skill kids and what they're best at. So like this year, we had a really good tight end. And so we have the ability to step him off and step this guy on and allow our tight ends to run jet sweep. So with that being said, I want to make sure that everybody knows ahead of time that those are the main plays that you're going to see. When we talk about any of our out perimeter plays, whether it's jet, whether it's toss, whether it's quick pitch, these are the base rules that we're going to use. Okay. So we don't change our blocking schemes depending on what we're running here, especially when it comes to the inside guys. So your play side tackle, we tell him he's going to be, his rule is reach. Play side guard is pull, and we tell him he's got alley. So his rule is pull and block, alley or block safety. Our center is going to be on reach. Backside guard, backside tackle, or scoop. When we look at our skill kids, our tight end, if he's play side, he's going to reach on outside. And like I said, we can talk through these things if you want a little bit later. The backside guy, if he's backside, he's going to scoop and he's going to try to block the backside third defender. So we match up backside. If he's the number one guy on our offense, he's going to block that first, third defender. Your halfback or slot, he's going to stalk the defender over him, or he's going to reach on outside if he's in a wing position. So when we're talking slot, I'm talking about remove slot, like in twins. Our tailback, he's going to take what we call a zone step to the backside A gap, and he's going to continue his trap fake. So we like to use a lot of our, on jet, he's going to be a gap threat. So that way we have the threat of trap. If it is quick pitch, what he's going to do is going to run through the backside B gap. We're not worried about him blocking anybody. We're just running him backside, because if people are reading our fullback, it's a false read. So we want to go ahead and make sure that we do something. So if we're quick pitching out to the right, he's running B gap backside. Okay. And if we're running toss, which is to him, we just ask him to line up, instead of his fingers being at 2.5 yards, his fingers will now be at 3 yards. So we're going to back him up a half yard. That way there's not as much, the quarterback and him are not as close when they go ahead and get the ball tossed to them. And then if I look at my X, he's play side, he's going to stalk number one. If he's backside, he's going to work, or what we call wall number 2. Now, one of the things that we do that maybe not everybody does is we have a check system. And what that does is allow us, if we're in a bad place, so if we're calling jet or quick pitch or toss, and we're in a bad position where that guy, maybe he be flexed too much, we're going to get 2 different calls. So if we're running one of these outside plays to our tight end, and he feels he can't reach the guy he's responsible for, then he goes ahead and he checks. And what he's going to check to is our offense will check to the down or belly G. If we're running it to the tackle side and he feels like he can't make the call, we're going to check to inside belly. So we've got a check system to make the plays work right. Doesn't always come out the way we'd like it to, but when it is done right, I'm going to show you some things that are wrong so you can see if we did it right, what it would actually look like. And then our play side guard, he's got to listen for some calls. Okay. He's got to listen for calls such as ace, deuce, backer, and listen for alley calls. And you'll see how those come in as we work with our skill guys and here in a little bit when we tag our outside plays. Okay. So in this case, when we're talking about checks, I'll back this up. You may have trouble just watching it. It's lagging. If you look right here, number 59, he's our left tackle. We're running. We've run or called quick pitch out here to the left, and he feels like he can't reach this guy. Now, I don't typically ask the guy to stand up and look at the whole team and then scream, check three, but he's doing that. And you see the quarterback, he recognizes it. But the problem we have is the halfback, he does wrong. He doesn't check. Okay. He was still running quick pitch. And my wingback is now cracking using our calls that we had because it was probably quick pitch with a deuce call. So he'd block this guy, he'd block this guy. But these guys are all wrong. So we checked off. But imagine for a moment, okay, if my halfback runs up in the hole and blocks the linebacker and we're checking to belly and he blocks this guy. So the only person left to make a play is going to be this backside safety. So we do have safety valves in place. So that way, if it's a play where we can't reach them, we can go ahead and use that against them and run inside of them. Another example of a mess up right here. We are in unbalanced slot and we're going to run jet sweep this way. Okay. And they should be checking to 6, which is to the tight end side, which is down. And some of the guys do it right. Some of them do it wrong. So I want to show you what was wrong. We end up running jet sweep. But if we check to a 6, okay, if we check 6 down and everybody runs down and we kick this guy right here, fullback is running inside real well. Now I've got a pretty good guy running jet and we're pretty dang good at blocking it. So with that being said, turns into a good play, but really we could have checked and we should have checked right there to down. Now, some other things, like we said, play side guard, he wants to listen ace, deuce, backer, kick. Because remember what we said was his base rule is block force or block safety. Okay. Block alley rather, not block force. So an ace would tell him he's now not going to block force because somebody else is, or block alley. I'm sorry. If he hears deuce, he knows that he's no longer blocking alley. If he hears backer, he knows he's no longer blocking alley. So the other piece of that is he may get an alley call from a running back who's now kicking 1. So if he gets an ace, a deuce, and a backer call, we're going to take that guard and he's going to run. He's going to kick the play side corner. If we have an extra back to that side, he may go ahead and kick that corner and we get another guy in the alley. So one of those things, and like I said, we'll look at it. And then play side tackle, we'll have a call that we call veer. If you've got a guy that you're trying to run your outside stuff and you just cannot reach him, what we do is have that play side tackle. We'll add, like, let's say it's quick pitch. So it's going to be quick pitch veer. So he's going to use a veer blocking scheme. You'll see that guy squeeze, block down, and now he blocks himself because he's squeezing back down on that 5 technique, or squeezing that 5 technique, squeezing down on that DN. So again, understand veer is a call. If we can't reach a guy who's on us because he's so good with his hands on and reading that hat, we're going to go ahead and run veer and allow ourselves to be able to block the guy without actually blocking him. Just jumping in right here, we're going to start giving you some cut ups and talk through concepts. One of the things that we're going to do that a lot of people do with jet sweep is I'm going to use this guy as both an extra blocker and I may use him as a decoy. So that's our fullback. He's not set behind the quarterback. We set him what I call strong and he sets strong, so that way he becomes an extra blocker. Conceptually, if we block everything, what we call base. So if I just call, we're going to call, in our offense, we call this Lear. So if I just call a formation, say Lear and heavy, setting him there, then what's going to happen is everybody's going to run their base rules. So he's going to reach, okay? This guard is going to pull and get into the alley and block alley. This is an extra guy to get into the alley. We'll base block this right here. So you got numbers. One of the things that we try to do in our perimeter game is find ways to get numbers. And that you'll see here as we showing you more and more of our perimeter blocking scheme. So let's go ahead. I'm going to run it. I know it's going to be laggy and slow, and I'm going to stop it from time to time. You'll see right here, my wing back doesn't do a great job, because what he does is he allows penetration right there. But the other piece of that is good is when a lot of folks can't get this guy out and around because this guy outruns them. And one of the things that we have found is if the guy that's running jet sweep, okay, if he's running jet sweep, watch when he gets the ball, he'll start bellying back. That does two things. It allows him, if there's a hump that's created, it allows him to get around the hump. The other thing it does is if he doesn't have it, he's able to run flat and get around, and now he becomes a lead blocker. And it runs much smoother when we get that little arc in there and lets him get around everything, and then he's able to get with that guard. In this situation, the guard gets picked up because of the trash that's created right there. Okay. So that is just a base way for us. Hat on hat, reach, outside. Okay. I know we talked about everything's under center, but I do have some gun cut-ups, and you'll see, again, this is no different. This is my tight end. If he was here, who's he going to reach? He's going to get that guy. This is an extra guy, and so on. So I do have some gun cut-ups, but that's not what this is primarily on. And you can see how well we do reaching. Okay, you're going to get a reach here. You're going to get a pull right there by the guard, getting outside. Now, this guy doesn't do what he's supposed to do. It works a little better in gun. Remember, we talked about bellying back. In gun, you don't have to do it near as much, but see, as soon as he gets it, he's going downhill, which he shouldn't be doing. He should be doing what we call stretch and then cut and follow. Okay. You see that tight end come out of the backfield. He gets on a guy quick. The next guy's able to get on that guy right there. And then we've got X stalk blocking right there. Okay. So just the base example, there's no calls to that. That is base blocking, hat on hat, all the way across the board. Another example from the same game, same team, you'll see it. We're still running base concepts here. Reach, okay. Back comes out of the backfield. He's reaching, guards pulling, he pulls up, and we're able to get in the hole and score on a big play. But bottom line is this is right here. It's just base blocking all the way across the board. It didn't matter if we're under center or gun. Here we are right here. We are actually outnumbered to this side, okay? But we're going to run jet back. So a lot of people don't like running jet unless they've got a split out here or another wing. What we recognize is we get in this wing T set right here. I was like, oh, they brought a force. So they went outside linebacker over, and they left one guy out there. And so we run jet sweep back, and this guy, instead of being up here in the wing back position, he comes out of the backfield and blocks. So again, base blocking all the way across the board. The problem is my right guard, for some reason, does not pull. So if he's pulling and he gets outside all this trash, we probably score a touchdown because the back does a great job getting his head on the outside, getting his upfield shoulder. But if here's my guard coming, he probably picks up the next guy. And again, even though you work it, kids are kids. So another way, good look at just base blocking all the way across the board. One of the other things that we like to do, whether it's base or not, a lot of times we like to run jet, and you haven't seen us run quick pitch. We'll run jet this way, quick pitch. A lot of times we'll bring this guy down inside and crack. But what happens here is this guy's always screaming here, and you can see his back. So we knew we'd never be able to crack him. So I said, let's run jet, quick pitch, and base block outside. So again, everybody's basing right here. Okay, he's got number one, obviously. The back comes out of the backfield. He's going to pick up the next threat. If he got his outside shoulder here, we're in much better position, but he hits them pretty well. And we're able to pick up some good yardage on that play. Again, just different ways of looking at base blocking in what we do. Now, again, this is going to be a quick pitch. I can leave these guys spaced out like it's twins. I like to monkey with people, and so we call this a squeeze set. So these guys are not stacked, but they're one by one. It's hard to see that from here. And he's got number one. He's got number two. He's reaching. He's pulling. Okay. Now, I believe this back does a great job. If you watch the back again, I'm going to try to run it slow. He's getting depth. 1, 2, 3. He's bucket step until he gets the ball. And what that does is he keeps getting depth. It allows that guard to get around and become that lead blocker. If you watch that guard, he gets in that alley real fast. And there's that guard downfield blocking the alley play. He's on the force. He's on that free safety. So again, that's just base blocking, base concepts that we use.
Coaches, I really hope you got some great information from that YouTube video. Again, hit the subscribe and like button down below. It gives us valuable data, and you also get notified when I upload new content to this channel. Thanks for watching, coaches.